Hey there folks, this is GreenyXI welcoming you right back to Let's Play Umineko. This is episode 33. In the last episode, we had the last three of the sacrifices for the roulette of this arc. And that was Shannon, George and Genji, the chef. Which means that George and Shannon ended up dying anyway, even if they wasn't picked for the lovers sort of part. So, anyways, let's get going. After Genji finished his late meal, he went out to do the nighttime rounds inside the mansion. He'd eaten some reheated soup that Goda had made. Goda, not Genji. Along with some random leftovers from the refrigerator. Those were all things Goda had made himself, and were, of course, delicious. He had half-heartedly gone to ask Rosa and the others what they would do for dinner, but he'd been yelled at by a voice telling him that the canned food would be enough, and the door wasn't even opened for him. So ironically, the servant Genji was able to eat a more delicious meal. Yeah, he didn't end up dying, even though the butterflies came for him. But why was it that Genji wasn't afraid to do the rounds all by himself, even though all of those crimes had been committed, and many people had already met a brutal end? Judging by his appearance as he carried out his usual tasks without a trace of fear, as though everything was normal, you might think all the horrible events that day had been no more than a dream or an illusion. And the thing is, Beatrice also said that she could kill more people if she wanted. It was just 13 for the sacrifices, you know? She could still kill more. Was he taking a philosophic view, or had he just accepted his fate? Genji must have considered it a virtue that, when the fate that awaited him was unavoidable, he'd carry out his duty systematically until the last moment. The depths of his heart would probably remain hidden for all eternity, unless he spoke of them himself. He had returned his master key to Rosa, so the places he could reach were extremely limited. All he could do was walk around the hallways, checking to make sure all the windows were closed. That probably made his rounds go a lot faster than usual. Is he the only remaining servant? He is, isn't he? Yeah. At the sound of a reserved knock, Aunt Rosa, who had been falling into a doze, jumped and woke up, pointing the barrel of the gun at the door as she yelled. Who is it? I was napping on a sofa, and that voice also brought me back to reality. Rosa-sama? It's I, Genji. Do you have some business? Don't worry about opening the door. Tell us from there. Yes, ma'am. In that case, forgive me for speaking in this fashion. I found Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa's corpses. What did you say? I see. Very well, let's go and check them. Until I see the corpses, I won't believe anyone. Oh. It's okay, Battler. If you stay with me, it'll definitely be okay. Maybe my face seemed to be darkened with anxiety. Maria grasped my hand with her small hand and spoke softly, trying to give me courage. Since it was Aunt Rosa's job to ready the gun and stand guard, it fell to me to remove the barricade of sofas. When I finished, I took a backwards glance at Aunt Rosa, who was pointing the barrel of the gun over my shoulder, and opened the door. Genji-san, where are their corpses? In the courtyard. I shall guide you. Battler-kun, wait. Just in case, let's check the doors and windows of this room. Wait a second. Aunt Rosa called me to a halt to prevent me from going on ahead, and began to carefully check the locks on each of the windows. But those locks had already been checked once. It felt kind of unpleasant, as though she suspected that I might have secretly unlocked them when she wasn't looking. No, maybe Aunt Rosa was right to be cautious. In this situation, probably. Paranoid or cautious? Both. Though it was called a courtyard, it wasn't really a pretty place you could take a walk in, like the rose garden. On the contrary, since it was surrounded by the mansion on all sides, it made you feel a little uncomfortable, as though it was telling you that there would be no escape from this mansion, no matter where you tried to run. On the other hand, that meant that even though we could still hear the violent winds, the wind itself was blocked. Genji-san held out an umbrella, but Aunt Rosa ignored him. She was probably hinting that the gun took two hands, and it would be dangerous if she took the umbrella. Well, he's a servant, he can put the umbrella over. We didn't need Genji-san pointing for us to notice. Right in the centre of the courtyard, we could see where Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san lay. Aunt Rosa entered the courtyard without even opening an umbrella. So Genji and I also entered the courtyard without opening one. Only Maria opened hers. Maria? Is this... you know what? Oh. It's the 7th and the 8th twilights. I see. Certainly, just as Genji-san and the others said, there are horrible wounds on their necks. The cuts are quite sharp, almost as though they were sliced with a katana or something. Those gaping wounds on their necks definitely made me want to avert my eyes. But after seeing that Halloween party in the chapel, even though they looked horrible, they were no longer enough to make me feel sick. More importantly, our gazes fell to their legs, to Dr. Nanjo's knee, to Kumasawa-san's ankle. Driven into each of them was something like a knife or a stake with a demonic design. They must have been the same as the thing that had pierced Jessica's back, and also the same as from the first arc. What's this? It's just like what happened to Jessica-chan. Is this supposed to be some kind of an occult ceremony, I wonder? I do not know. The last time I saw their bodies, there was nothing like these. Maybe it was done after they were carried out of the servant room. The one stuck into Dr. Nanjo's knee was still standing erect. But the one that had been thrust into Kumasawa-san's ankle might have been a little shallower. It had come out and fallen over. So by looking at the one that had fallen over, for the first time, I realised it wasn't a knife, but something like a stake. Its full length was probably about 30 centimetres. It was probably made out of bronze or iron or something of the sort. Even without touching it, I could tell it had some weight to it. It was composed of a grip and a cone-shaped part, and it was obviously made to be a piercing weapon. Maybe it was like a miniature version of those lances Western knights used on horseback. Spiral-shaped ditches in it made it also look like a small drill. However, the grip had an occult design, modelled off a demon or something, so instead of a weapon used in war, it felt like something that would be used in a ceremony to offer up living sacrifices. Well, there you have it. There's no mistake. They're meant to be sacrifices. On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill. Wait a sec. That means they've left out the 4th, 5th and 6th. Could it be? Of course. Why is Genji-san alone? If something like this has happened, why aren't George, Aniki, Goda-san and Shannon-chan here? Why was Genji-san alone? What's going on? Where did George-kun and the other two go? They said they wanted to search for something in Madame Natsui's room, and they left. They have not returned yet. What did you say? You say they left, but when was that? 2 or 3 hours ago, I believe? No way! Why didn't you tell us something that... wait, no! Why didn't you think that was suspicious? There must be at least one servant on standby at all times. It was my duty to wait for orders until they returned. Was Genji-san really this much of a robot? This is bad. This is bad. It's really bad. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san were killed like this, which means that 3 people have already been killed. We ran towards Aunt Natsui's room, with a touch of anxiety and just as much resignation. Here we go. Before we even saw the inside of Aunt Natsui's room, we were forced to resign ourselves to a certain fact. On that door was a bizarre scribble. No. Filth? Anyway, the room wasn't in an ordinary state, and without even opening the door, we could imagine what we'd find inside. On the face of the door, how should I say it? Handprints, done heavily with the same red paint as the magic circles from before. I'd banged on the door, scratched at it, dirtied it. It looked like the aftermath of a kindergartner playing in the mud. I didn't know what it could mean. The bright red paint that had been slathered on was dripping down, and even though no one said it, it made us think of blood. Genji-san, please open it. Aunt Rosa held her gun up high and ordered Genji-san to open the door. Genji-san approached it without seeming particularly troubled by that stuff on it and turned the knob, but immediately turned around, shaking his head. It was locked. At that moment there was only one person in this mansion who could lock and unlock doors at will, Aunt Rosa. This time, Genji-san asked Aunt Rosa to unlock the door, instead of the other way around. After frowning slightly for a second, Aunt Rosa handed me a master key and told me to open the door. Battle-kun, would you open it for me with this? Just trusting Genji-san with something like that wouldn't... Aunt Rosa glared at me intensely. Getting into a fight here would only make the mood turn even more sour. Without talking back anymore, I approached that creepy door and tried the knob. It didn't open. It was definitely the resistance of the lock. I stuck the master key into the keyhole. Clunk. There was a slight resistance. Aunt Rosa told me to be on my guard, and I opened the door without really guarding myself in any way. Should listen to your aunt. And then there was a scene laid out before us that didn't betray my expectations at all. Horrible. As I thought, it's a reproduction of the 4th, 5th and 6th twilights. Ooh. The inside of the room looked as though a robber had just broken in. Drawers have been flung open, pulled out, and had their contents thrown about all over the place, leaving the room so cluttered you'd never believe it belonged to the methodical Aunt Natsuhi. But the very first thing that caught our eyes was Goda-san's corpse lying face down right in front of the door. Right in the centre of his chest, almost as though it had been stuck there to finish off a vampire, was one of those demon stakes from before. Exactly how far could it have reached after being stuck that deeply into his chest? Just imagining it would make anyone's chest hurt. Wasn't gouging the chest the fifth twilight? Oh. Maria grabbed my hand. Her expression looked just like normal, but maybe she really was afraid of the aura in this room where 3 corpses lay. And along the wall farthest into the room, Georgianiki lay dead. This time, one of those stakes had been rammed right into the centre of his stomach. Wasn't gouging the stomach the 6th twilight? Shannon-chan's corpse was face down in front of the dresser, lying in a sea of blood. Had she seen her own face at the end, in that horribly broken mirror stained with blood? Because she was lying that way, I couldn't see her face, but I could guess even without seeing it. Nearby in the sea of blood she lay in, a demon stake had fallen. Only the 4th twilight was left. Gouge the head and kill. Maybe my heart was totally worn out and dead. Even though I knew it was wrong, I lifted her head and checked, and I confirmed that my guess had been right on the mark. There was a gaping hole in Shannon-chan's head, and the insides were dripping out. Not only that, but he could even see inside her. After seeing that, I finally realised I was doing something wrong. I immediately averted my eyes, but by now, it was probably pointless. Hey, Batlakun! You mustn't touch anything until the police come. What do you think you're doing, touching it? What will you do if our precious evidence on the scene gets disturbed? And Rosa got violently mad at me and even tugged at the back of my collar. I tottered limply and fell on my butt, gazing dimly up at the ceiling. Maria? Oh? With this, even the 8th twilight is over. What was the 9th twilight again? On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. I see. So it's all done. Pretty much. After this, the Golden Witch Beatrice will be revived. What then? On the final 10th twilight? On the 10th twilight at Journey's End, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. Very soon, the door to the Golden Land will be opened. Very soon. The witch shall be revived and none shall be left alive, huh? We're gonna die now? Or does this mean the ceremony of sacrifices is over, and that now, at Journey's End, we'll reach the Golden Land? What's our journey? We spent the whole day trying to find the culprit, spinning in our heads as we tried to break out of this situation, and we haven't gotten anywhere. It's like they say, thinking stupid is no better than sleeping. That's right, we spent the whole day burning ourselves up with hatred and paranoia. We were so sure we could only trust the dead, that we came all the way here just to confirm these 3 deaths with our own eyes. If we're like this, why should we be able to make it to the Golden Land? That's right, if we couldn't resolve any of our problems anyway, it would have been so much better if we'd locked ourselves up the whole time without thinking at all. Grandfather's the wisest of us all. He's been shut up in his room since yesterday, without any contact with anyone. That was the right decision. Grandfather was the most correct of us all. Well, it didn't work out when Natsui in the first arc, shutting him up. It's okay, Battler. If you're with me, we'll be okay. The witch is very fickle, and she's a terrifying being who might kill humans partly for fun sometimes. However, if you're with me, you'll be okay. So don't be afraid. Try again. However, if you're with me, you'll be okay. So don't be afraid. Thank you. Even if you're just saying it to console me, I'm glad. That's a nice girl. After Aunt Rosa finished investigating their corpses, she announced that she'd seal this room again. Chased the rest of us out, stole back the master key she'd lent me, and locked the door again. Apparently Georgianiki had been holding the key to Aunt Natsui's room. She also collected that. Wait a sec. She's got all the master keys on her person. If Natsui's own key was locked up inside this room, doesn't that make it another closed room? So what, is this the 4th closed room? God. Now that the suspicion surrounding those 3 had been cleared, we returned to the parlour once more. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. If only the dead are innocent, and everyone alive is a wolf, that leaves only me, Aunt Rosa, Maria, and Genji-san. And besides us, there's only Grandfather and that 19th person, the guest we've seen no trace of, Beatrice. 13 people have died, and 6 are left. How would wolves and sheep puzzle with only 6 people end? Even though a puzzle that started with 19 people has been reduced to 6, I can't think of an answer. We returned to the parlour. I was a bit worried that while we were gone, a creepy magic circle or something might have been drawn on the parlour door, but thankfully we didn't find anything like that. Thank you, Genji-san. This is far enough. Please rest for the day. Certainly. And please excuse me. Hey, Aunt Rosa. Are you saying you'll leave Genji-san all alone in a situation like this? That's right. I do think it's quite dangerous. But in that case, why is he safe? After those three headed to Natsui-Nisan's room, he was alone the whole time. And yet he's safe. It's a wolves and sheep puzzle. Why would a sheep be safe if it was all alone, and therefore in its weakest possible position? Probably because by coincidence there weren't any wolves around. Wrong. It's because it wasn't a sheep. You saying Genji-san's a wolf? He said he was alone in the kitchen, but that's impossible to prove. The only ones who could have carried Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san's corpses, who could have killed George and the rest, were him and Beatrice, right? Wait, with that argument, anyone. Battler-sama, thank you for your concern. I believe trust is won not with 100 excuses, but with simple faithfulness. Even if I'm not able to gain your trust, I wish to be faithful until the end. Genji-san. Then we decided. If you truly are innocent, the police will prove that for us when they come tomorrow. So until then, we cannot remove you from suspicion. After your long years of service, I find it truly painful to treat you so poorly. But please understand about tonight. And when tomorrow comes, please let's make up again. Genji-san gave his head a small shake. Today and tomorrow, I will continue to be a servant of the Ashuramaia family. If you need anything, please say so at any time. Then, if you will excuse me. After hearing all that, there was nothing left to say. Genji-san bowed deeply and left down the hall. Then we entered the room. Even though Aunt Rosa still held all the master keys herself, she thoroughly checked the inside of the parlour again. She opened the curtains, checked again to make sure the windows were locked. As I watched, how should I say it? I felt like it didn't really matter anymore. If I said anything careless, it would turn into another fight. For a while I gazed at her from the corridor, figured I'd waited just about long enough and entered the parlour behind her. If she doesn't trust anyone but the dead, why doesn't she just go around killing everyone with the gun she's got in her hand? And then, in the end, she'll realise that she herself is the wolf. Then she can just blast through the head of the final wolf and close the curtain on this insane murder drama. Nice. As I thought that bitterly, I returned to the sofa where I'd been encamped before, rudely resting both my feet on the table. When I tried to do that, I found something there and stopped moving my feet. What's this? Right there, almost as though it had been addressed to me, was a Western envelope. It was that envelope from before, with the seal of the one-winged eagle. And it was unopened. Wait. What's this? Who put it in a place like this, and when? Until I went with everyone to check the corpses, I was sitting here the whole time. And there wasn't anything there then. And when I returned, it was here. It's okay. Everything's still locked up securely. This room is safe. I heard Rosa muttering that. Wait. We made sure this room was safe when we left it. We checked that the windows were all perfectly locked. Then we locked it up, came back, and the windows were still locked. Then, wait, who put this letter here, and how? I opened the letter. 2 pieces of stationery came out. The first page had a magic circle drawn on it with something like blood. If I asked Maria, she'd probably know what it meant. And there was writing on the other page. Have you made progress in solving the epitaph? In just a short while, your time will be up in a flash. The night's twilight will begin quite soon. There's no mistake. It was a letter from Beatrice. Oh? Battler? What's that? When we came here just now, it was sitting right there. What happened, Maria? Huh? Battler-kun, that letter. Wait, it was sitting right here. Why? Even though we checked to make sure this room was locked. Why? Maria, come here. And Rosa closed her eyes just a little, and after thinking silently for a moment, told Maria to come. Maria obeyed her mother's words. As she did, something unbelievable happened. And Rosa pointed the barrel of that gun at me. Battler-kun, I've concluded that you are a wolf. Why? When I came into the room just now, I saw that there was nothing at all on the table, and I know that Maria did not approach that table. We're talking about a short stretch of time, but the only one who claims to have approached the table and found the letter is you. How can you... Wait, that's all screwed up. Why would I put something like this here? Wait, I just found something suspicious and reported it, right? Why are you suspecting me? Because only you could have set that letter there. That's right, this is all a charade. You pulled an envelope from your pocket and then acted as though you just found it, to create the illusion that the witch entered a closed room, set down a letter and left. Dumbass, you thinking like that again? Are you going to suspect me because of something like that? Cut it out. My dad and everyone else were killed. Why would I take part in this culprit's scheme? True. Even if you were offered a large sum of money, I don't want to believe in the existence of the sort of demon who could sell out their own parents. Then again, maybe such a demon does exist. No, that's a bad way to say it. What if you didn't view Rudolph, Nissan and Kirie-san as your parents? What? Think about what you're saying. Dad's dad, right? Of course, I'm not related to Kirie-san by blood, but she's like a big sister to me. No way in hell I'll let a comment like that slide, you bastard. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop it. Oh, whoa, whoa. Stop saying oh. I'm sorry, that was a bad way to put it. True, Ashuramaia Battler-kun may be Rudolph Nissan's child, but are you really that Battler-kun? What the hell are you talking about? If I'm not Battler, who else do I look like? All of us, including Rudolph Nissan, are seeing you for the first time in 6 years. No one can prove that you really are Ashuramaia Battler, right? That's a good point. Maybe you aren't Battler, but someone who snuck in, making a skillful bid to steal the wealth of the Ashuramaia family. Can you clearly prove that you're Ashuramaia Battler? Right here, right now? Cut it out, damn it. I'm me, Ashuramaia Battler. If you're going to suspect even things like that, you really Ashuramaia Rosa? I'm myself, no one else. Yeah, that's right, it's just as you say. You can't trust anyone but corpses and yourself. If you're going to go that far, let me make an objection. Georgianiki and the others were found dead, and Aunt Natsui's room was locked. Georgianiki had the key to that room, right? And by now, the only one with the master key is you, Aunt Rosa, right? Aren't you the only one who could have unlocked that room? My theory goes like this. You're in contact with the real culprit, and while I wasn't looking, you lent them one of the 5 master keys. I didn't do something like that. See, there are 5 of them here, right? As if that matters. You could have had them set it in a prearranged spot and collected it, right? And weren't you the one who doubted whether there really were 5 master keys? So how do you suggest that someone other than yourself placed that letter there? Until you find proof someone else did it, you're a wolf. Shut up! Then why don't you show me some proof? How do you claim the culprit killed Georgianiki and the rest in that closed room? How did they lock it? That's exactly right. Natsui's room was exactly the same, just like usual. The door and windows were locked from the inside. There were no frauds or tricks, no means of secret passages or places in which to hide. Natsui's own key was in George's pocket and the inside of the room was sealed off. Only the 5 master keys were left, and Rosa was holding all of them. And let me say this, the parlour's the same. The key to the parlour itself is sealed away in the servant room. So unlocking it without a master key is impossible. The definition of closed room remains the same as always. Come on now, there's only one suspect. Or are you still playing innocent, Ashuramaia Battler? Shut up. You shut up too. You're the one who should shut up. How do you claim the letter was placed here by anyone other than you? Unless you can prove such a thing happened, you're a wolf. If you can suspect me, then we can suspect you too, so try showing me some proof yourself. And anyway, weren't you the first person to enter this room and start checking the windows, Aunt Rosa? Then, you guessed that I'd go back to where I'd been sitting and secretly put a letter there. It's possible for us to suspect that this is a trap of yours, right? Why would I use a trap like that? If I was a wolf, I'd shoot you with this gun without question. That proves nothing. Maybe you chose the roundabout way of setting a clever trap because you couldn't commit murder in front of Maria. All the master keys are in your hands. So what happened, both here and in the last room, was all you're doing, right? If you think you can talk your way out of this, then let's hear your excuses. That's right, you've been suspicious from the start, Aunt Rosa. Why is it that even though 6 adults in the family conference were killed, you were the only exception? Why were you the only one not in that chapel? There can only be one reason. You invited Dad and the rest there and killed them. Damn it, damn it. That explains everything, doesn't it? Don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. Stop saying things that don't make sense. God, the drama. Oh, stop it. You mustn't fight. Mama too, Battler too, stop it, stop it. It's no one's fault. It's not Battler's or Mama's fault. The witch did all of this. It was done with magic. It's no one's fault. Ooh, ooh. Maria thrust herself in between Aunt Rosa and me as the blood started rising to our heads. I was taken aback by Maria's crying voice and returned to my senses. I had acted shamefully just now. My eyes filled with tears. That's right. It's all the witch's fault, isn't it? All this about keys and tricks and alibis, all of it was stupid. Even though it's the work of the witch, we weren't even able to trust each other as humans. Right, Aunt Rosa? From the beginning, there wasn't a human culprit, it was all the work of the witch. So there's no way you're the culprit, and there's no way Maria, Genji-san, or I am, either. Why has it come to this? Why am I screaming at Aunt Rosa, who I loved? Why am I having this fight with a kind aunt I loved so much? Why? Why does everyone have to suspect each other? I'm not going to suspect my aunt. I'm not going to suspect anyone. It's all the work of the witch. It's all the work of Beatrice. It's all a crime that Beatrice committed with magic. Beatrice, please show yourself here, and confess to us that you did everything. I'm sorry already. I'm sorry we've been suspecting each other like this. So forgive us, release us from this hell of suspecting each other until we see each other die. Give me my kind relatives and cousins back. I hate it, I hate it all. You definitely exist, it's your victory. Show yourself, oh Beatrice, Beatrice. Am I still alive? Apparently some time ago, Kinzo had fallen into a doze. He searched for his spectacles and looked at the clock. It was 10 p.m. That person's ceremony. Let's see. How far has it progressed? It must have come quite far by this time. Kinzo lifted his heavy body from the chair and approached the portrait of the witch that he had gazed at every day. Beatrice, very soon I will have a chance to be reunited with your smile. I care not if I die. If I can just see your smile one more time, I will not regret this life. So, for heaven's sake, let me meet with you one more time. Then let me swear my love to you. Let me apologize for my crimes. Oh, but I won't let you escape. You are mine. From your hair to your toenails, to the dirt under your toenails, you are mine. Every fragment of your flesh is mine. Even the broth of your corpse is mine. I won't let you escape. This time you won't slip away from my hands. I'll make you mine for all eternity. I will never let you escape a second time. I'll never let you escape a second time. Kinzo howled in rage, then suddenly fell to his knees as he shook and scraped at the wall. In an instant he had started sobbing. Ah, that's wrong. I didn't want to say something like this, Beatrice. Please, let me see you one more time. Even if you only let me apologize, Beatrice. You're beloved, yearned for. I was mistaken. If you would just smile, I wouldn't need anything else. I made a mistake. I made a mistake back then. I did something that cannot be taken back. In atonement, I offer all that remains of my life. In order to apologize to you, in order to atone for my crimes, I offered everything. Please, even if it must happen as I die, at least let me apologize, just once. Beatrice. As Kinzo shook and cried, a butterfly appeared out of nowhere behind his small back like a flake of gold leaf, and softly descended. You fool, Kinzo. Did you think any woman out there would fall for a man's tears? Even if it wouldn't make a woman fall for you, it might do the trick for a woman who is not human. Kinzo, do you remember that game of chess you played with me, which is still ongoing? Kinzo, as though he had suddenly remembered something, approached the chess set. It was as it had been during the game he played with Nanjo until yesterday. After knocking all the pieces off the chessboard, he began to line them up again, one by one. It was a setup for an ongoing game. That's right, like this. I advanced my queen. That was quite a spectacular move. Perhaps it was a little too intense for you. I worried whether you'd abandon your piece or not. Worried for so long. Kinzo waited with the opposite seat empty. Surely very soon his opponent would appear there, and he would be able to restart this game again. You fool, Kinzo. You want to apologize? You want to see my face again? You want to make my smile an eternal thing? Why can't you say a much, much simpler word, even though that's the sole element of this world? At that time, Kinzo muttered. Was it a prayer? An entreaty? It was probably best to just call it muttering. I love you, Beatrice. They were pure words, like something an innocent child would say, without any evil intent. You really are a fool, Kinzo. If you ever have the chance to do your life over again, know that those words will never cause a woman to fall for you. That's right, not unless a miracle happens. That's what makes this. At that moment, Kinzo definitely heard a small knock, one with a tempo that differed from those of the servants. Who is it? The woman beyond the door didn't answer. I'm asking who you are. Will you not answer? The woman beyond the door didn't answer. Could it be Beatrice? Beatrice. The woman beyond the door answered. On a night's twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. Oh, okay. I didn't think we'd end it yet. I get the impression next episode might be the last one, because nobody else is gonna... Well, it just seems like he's getting close. Yeah, it's going all the way, is it? No, 11:30. God. But it might still be the last episode, I don't know. We'll still have the after arc stuff as well, like we did in the first arc, I'm sure, if it is the end. Okay, but we are going to cut it off here. This has been GreenyXI. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a bit. When we... Oh, we see what happens at 11:30, I suppose. Kinzo is finally leaving his room, so... You know, something big's coming. Thanks again for watching, folks. See you again in a bit.